It's going on at the same time as the TikTok situation. So I'm not entirely sure if they're connected or not, or if there's like a music industry revolution that lobbyists are trying to do, or like record labels where they're trying to get paid out more, or maybe it's just somebody in the government is passionate about the music industry. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's Russ behind the scenes, but essentially there's this new bill that's potentially getting passed. Although personally, I don't think that it's going to even have a chance, because actually, just to get some context, allegedly this bill is trying to make it so every stream you get 1 cent generated revenue wise. So if you get 1 million streams, right, that is a lot of money. Instead of like being $3,000 to $4,000, it's now going to be what, 10 grand? So 1 million times 0.01. Yeah, $10,000. So it's basically 3.5 or so X multiple of what you'd be getting from Spotify. So it's not like totally, you still got to get streams to actually make money, but it definitely would make you way more rich, especially these record labels and artists. And I assume that if they're going to do that for music, they might do that for YouTubers too. So we'd be making a bag. But I don't think that it's going to get passed, because think about, like, I don't think Spotify has ever even made money yet. So like if they pay out more money and I know that they're probably just investing in more money into R&D so that they can technically be at a loss, or making zero money so they can like maximize tax optimization, so they don't have to pay any taxes. But I doubt that they could afford to pay out that much money per stream. But let me see. Streams pay out 1 cent. Let's see if there's any details on what's going on. They need some restrictions. Everybody want to rap? Yo, facts. Honestly, I don't even know. I mean, look, I got my fair share of criticisms towards streaming platforms and how much they pay. But at the same time, like, there's so much music and there's so many people dropping songs and so many listeners that, like, if they paid a fair wage, at least according to these people, like, just everything would go bankrupt. The music industry is just getting flipped upside down because of streaming, where before it was so easy to sell like CDs and whatever, but now you got to get 1,500 streams just to equate to like what, $5, something like that. So maybe it's a little bit more. Is it it might be like $6, but still, that's so record labels. That's why they had to create the 360 deal. But here's the new bill. Proposed minimum streaming payment of 1 cent. So that's just minimum. Some of these other ones like Tidal or Apple or whatever, they might actually pay more. Shit. If this happens, I low-key might have to become a rapper and just start uploading hella tracks, because that's just going to be easy bread. All right. The Living Wage for Musicians Act has been introduced to Congress by U.S. Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Jamal Bowman, which puts forward a minimum streaming payment for musicians that is higher than the current standard. Okay, so the current rate at Spotify is 3 to 5 cents. So 1 million streams, $3,000 to $5,000. The royalty would be funded through platform subscription fees and a 10% levy on non-subscription revenue, and is designed to ensure that artists receive a minimum of 1 penny per stream, an amount calculated to provide a working class artist a living wage from streaming. The royalty would be paid out proportionally from a central fund, with a cap placed on how much an individual track can earn. That's the catch, to ensure a more equitable distribution of payments. That's the catch. That's how they get you, bro. That's how they're going to be able to afford to pay everyone 1 cent, because once you hit like, $10,000 on a certain song, they're like, sorry. You already hit the cap. And then we're gonna have to start paying other people. And that's how they get shit. That's how they like send so much money to Ukraine and like all this. I'm not trying to get political here, but that's how they send all this money to different things, because they sneak in certain things in bills where it's like, yo, look over here, like we're gonna pay you a cent per stream. So all the rappers and like people who want to support artists and whatnot start voting for it. But then they find out in the fine print to the right, with a cap placed on how much an individual track can earn. So maybe that's also to combat bots or something. I don't know. Streaming has changed the music industry, but it's leaving countless artists struggling to make ends meet. It's only right that people who create the music we love get their fair share so that they can thrive, not just survive. The bill is being introduced just a few months after Spotify announced that it will no longer be compensating artists for songs that have fewer than 1,000 streams, which generates about only 3 cents per month for the artist. I mean, honestly, I didn't think that was that big of a deal, because it's like, just to pay the artist the transaction fee for like 3 cents, it just doesn't like, it probably costs more just to pay them what they earned than to just keep it until they actually earn a decent amount of money. The streaming service claims that the policy will eliminate one strata used to attempt to game the system or hide artificial streaming, as uploaders will no longer be able to generate pennies from an extremely high volume of tracks, adding that the company aims to deter artificial streaming, better organize payments to smaller artists, and so they're fighting botted accounts who are just they're uploading like hella tracks and just doing a few streams on each of them so that it like never gets picked up. Interesting. I guess I've seen something like that. Some podcast where a guy said that he has like, 100 songs or whatever. He just streams the shit out of them, but only like less than 2,000 per day. So it never gets picked up by Spotify or DistroKid or whatever. And then he just gets paid out like tens of thousands of dollars just by botting his tracks. But I don't know if that shit actually pays out. So because of this cap, does this mean a song with a billion streams will get the same money as a song with 2 million streams? I mean, yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends on what the cap is. So if the cap, but the thing is, this also might just screw independent artists. Actually, it helps. It just, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of makes music like more communist. The rap game is a sport. And so they're basically saying, yo, for all the people who get hella streams, I'm sorry, but we're capping your payout, even though you're supporting everyone else. We're gonna take, it's like a tax. We're going to take all your bread that you earned and we're going to give it to the smaller artists because you already ran through your cap. They probably like quadrupled 10x. Imagine Bad Bunny or Drake. They probably hit the cap in literally like an hour in the first day. And that's for the whole year that they can get paid for that cap. So it makes it, I'm telling you, this is like low-key communist. But yeah, again, it depends on the cap. And also record labels, they already do have a different payout, sometimes at least, of depending on like how major your label is. You have a different payout, or your distributor, of how much you get paid from the streaming platforms. Like independent artists will get like 3 to 5 cents. Who knows? Like Warner or Universal, they might have or Sony, they might have a deal with Spotify, Apple Music, where they're like, yo, we got Drake, we got Bad Bunny, we got whatever, Taylor Swift. Sorry, but you got to pay us like a cent anyway per stream, just because if we pull our music, they got the leverage. If we pull our music off your platform, you're low-key hurting and start like people are going to go to Spotify or the competitor, whatever it is, the opposite of wherever they pull it from. That's what Universal's trying to do with TikTok right now anyway. They're like, we're pulling all our artists and just see if I actually think there might be a conspiracy behind that. So Universal took all their music off of TikTok, right? And then now we're saying that they might get banned. So maybe Universal just like didn't want to get paid and then be kind of wrapped up in a situation with TikTok and having to support them through their lawsuit with, or not lawsuit, but like their legislation with the government. Or maybe the government nudged Universal being like, yo, pull your shit, so that they got less leverage with the culture of the US, or like money wise. You know what I mean? Or maybe Universal did that so that they can go just straight up buy. Maybe that's it. Because TikTok's getting banned, or they have to sell the US portion of the company to a US company so that the data isn't shared to China. But what if Universal or Warner or one of these big ass music companies bought TikTok, and then they can just pump the shit out of their artist music on the app and nobody will know? No one will know. Nah, we'll know. We'll know. But that would be a huge asset. Like, they low-key might want to pay billions for that shit. Like, sell all of Drake's masters for that. Actually, TikTok would be probably... What do y'all think TikTok's worth? TikTok valuation. 100 billion, bro. There's no way. I mean, there is a way. That definitely makes sense, but... you can't, I don't know if they can buy that shit, bro. I was gonna say, like, 20 million, 100. I was gonna say 20 billion. Sorry, it's got to be in the B's. Their blood gang, bro. 100 billion. God damn. I mean, it makes sense because, like, I'm pretty sure Apple and Microsoft are worth $1 trillion, and TikTok's definitely up there. Honestly, it might even be worth more than 100 billion. Given like how influential it is. It might not be making the same amount of revenue as like Meta, Alphabet, Microsoft, but it definitely has the potential to do that. And a lot of a company's valuation is based on the potential, not just how much they're bringing in. But who will buy TikTok from ByteDance? So also, this 100 billion might just be the US portion too. So for like China, that might be the biggest one too, but it actually might be worth like 500 if we're talking about like the global TikTok brand. But yeah, I heard Google was trying to buy it. I heard Oracle might buy it. I heard like Microsoft might buy it. Imagine Facebook or Meta buys it too. Then they got Instagram and TikTok. $100 billion. There are a few companies that could afford it, and those that could, in theory, Meta, Alphabet, Microsoft, would almost certainly run into regulatory roadblocks. Oh, okay, right. So if they buy it, Google, Microsoft, Meta, they might be into talks with the government about being a monopoly. Although I feel like Meta the most, because then if they have Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, that's definitely a monopoly on social media. YouTube like barely is a social media. It's just like a video platform. Although I get it. It could be considered that because of comments and whatnot. Microsoft, I don't know what they have, dude. What social media does Microsoft have? Microsoft owns social media. They own LinkedIn. Oh, shit. So, I don't know. I feel like it's still, Meta is definitely the most prone to being a monopoly. Who's going to buy it? That's the real question. If it's Amazon, Microsoft, Google, or Meta, I just think you're going to see some substantial antitrust concern. Facts. Elon. If Elon buys it too, he's got Twitter, which is like one of the... and the government hates Elon too. They would definitely be like, nope, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to do anything. They probably don't even let him wash his own dick. They're like, nope. It's not, nope. You got to trim first. They say it's 40 billion if a buyout doesn't include TikTok's addictive algorithm. So what would it be? I feel like that's the kicker. Like you low-key need that if you're buying TikTok. Otherwise, you're just buying the audience. But then if you buy the whole entire platform and just the audience without the algorithm that's super addictive, then they'll leave the platform for something else that's more addictive, like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, etc. But at the same time, I don't know if China wants to give up the sauce for this addictive algorithm, because then they know, like, we know they were up to some fishy shit manipulating the whole world. You know what I mean?